This is Faith Encouraged with Father Barnabas Powell. Homilies designed to help you live a purposeful and faith-filled life in Jesus Christ. Here's Father Barnabas.
Good morning. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see all of your faces as we get back from 2 weeks of leisure, rest, and relaxation. Yeah, right. Actually, 1 week of the 2 weeks that I was gone, I spent at St. Stephen's Camp for our young people. And at St. Stephen's Camp, I don't know if any of you have ever been to St. Stephen's before, but at St. Stephen's Camp for our young people, there's 5 sessions a week, and we have 100 kids every week at the 5 sessions. And all the sessions are always sold out every time, every year, before they start. It's just what is. So whenever you see St. Stephen's Camp open up, those of you who have rising 6th graders or rising seniors in your home, if you see that it's opened up for registration, you better jump on it quick or you're not going to get a spot. So that's just what is. It'd be wonderful if we had more room. It'd be wonderful if we had more space for more children, but we don't. God willing, we will someday, because we have thousands and thousands of young people in our metropolis, and only about 500 a year can go to camp, and that's something that I would love to see changed. But every year at camp, there is a week full of activities, and Thursday is special, though, because on Thursday, the kids go to confession, and usually there are about 5 or 6 priests that are there to hear the confession of the campers. And this year, I was blessed, obviously, to be one of the priests, and I heard confession for 14 hours. And can I give you a little hint, can you give you a little insight into confession? Those of you who go to confession all the time, you know this. Those of you who don't go to confession very often, you know who you are. Sin is boring. And so therefore, frankly, after 14 hours of hearing teenagers confess, I confess to you, I have absolutely no idea what somebody told me. I don't remember. They all run together. Because sin is boring. Do you understand that sin is not creative? Sin is mundane. Sin lacks creativity. It can't come up with anything original. It's the same old thing over and over and over again. It's righteousness that's exciting. It's righteousness that's dynamic and alive and life-giving. It's righteousness that fills a heart with buoyancy and life and joy. It's righteousness that is at peace. And so as I was listening to 14 hours of confession, I came across the key to keeping our kids connected to our faith. Are you interested? I came across the only answer to keeping our children Orthodox on purpose throughout their whole lives. And it's something that if we don't do it, folks, by the way, it has nothing to do with basketball games. It has nothing to do with pizza parties. It has nothing to do with dance festivals. It has nothing to do with language, this or that. The key, I learned this in 14 hours of listening to confession, hearing these teenagers pour their hearts out to me. I found out what their problem was. Their parents. Yeah, it's funny because it's true. I find that to be true in my own life. If I'm going to save my kids, if I'm going to keep my children Orthodox on purpose, if I'm going to see my young people, the young people in this parish, look at all the young people in this church. When Sunday school starts, you'll see even more. We'll just have to tape them to the ceilings. All of these young people in this church have one desperate need to see an example in their mother and father. That's what they need. And so the key to keeping our kids connected to our faith is training their parents. Adult education in the Orthodox faith is the most important thing that we can do. Because my kids come back from camp and they're all excited. In fact, I had several of them become friends with me on Facebook, Lord have mercy. So that means I'm exposed to all kinds of stupid, ugly, disgusting music. Horrible music. How in the world this generation could call what they're listening to music, I will never know. But anyway. But all of them are there on there, and over again, I told them, I want you to keep the fire of camp alive in your life as you go back home. I want you to keep the fire and the excitement of camp alive in your heart and stay focused on your faith. And you know what we all discovered? We discovered that between 3 and 4 weeks after camp is over, the temptation of going back into the same rhythm again, over and over again, is right back at us. But moms and dads, let me tell you something. I want you to pay attention. If you're a mother or a father this morning, and I don't care how old your kids are, if you're a mom or a dad, that means I'm going to have to perk up my ears too. I want you to listen to this. You cannot give your children what you yourself do not possess. You cannot expect a child to grow beyond the spiritual wisdom and training that you have given them as the greatest heritage you could ever give them. It's wonderful that they remember Yaya's baklava's recipe. That's fantastic. Please make sure you do that, especially come festival time. Please remember that. That's fantastic. It's wonderful that they know how to make baklava. It's wonderful that they know if I say this wrong, you can't fuss at me. I'm a white boy. What are you going to do? The simiato, or the dance that they do in the dance, that's good and that's great and that's fantastic, and I encourage it. But brothers and sisters, long after Yaya's baklava recipe is a memory, long after the dance steps have become irrelevant and you can't move that way anymore, the treasure of the Orthodox faith is the greatest gift you're ever going to give your children. You're not going to give them anything else more powerful. But Father, they need a good education. Yes, they need a good education, but they need an education that's going to last beyond their grave. But Father, they need to make good money. Yes, they need to make good money, but why? Why do they need to make good money? It's wonderful to be comfortable now, but 5 seconds stepped into eternity before the awesome judgment seat of Christ will make every physical comfort you have ever had completely irrelevant to you. Every physical comfort you have ever had, the nice house, the nice car, the nice clothes, the wonderful bank account, every physical comfort you have ever had will become crushingly irrelevant 5 seconds in eternity. So what should you give your children? What should you pass on to your children? What treasures should you leave your children? Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I thoroughly understand. Just look at our gospel lesson today and our epistle lesson. The scripture says the Apostle Paul calls God the God of encouragement and steadfastness. Did you notice those 2 words? That our God is a God of encouragement and steadfastness. By the way, notice it doesn't say comfort. It doesn't say that our God is a God of comfort. Our God is a God of encouragement. What is encouragement? Encouragement is, let us lift up off of our seats and get to work. That's what encouragement is. When you're encouraging someone, you're not just trying to encourage them emotionally. You want to encourage them physically as well. I sometimes have to do that with my girls when it's time for their chores. Girls, let me encourage you. But not only is our God a God of encouragement, keep moving, stay focused, don't give up, don't quit, don't get tired, keep going, don't stop, don't give up. Fall down, okay, get back up again. Encouragement, that is our God. That is our faith. Our Orthodox faith is a faith of encouragement. All throughout the Divine Liturgy, what do you hear us say? Proskomen. Give your attention. Why is it? Because we are so easily distracted by shiny things. I feel like Dora. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. That's it. That's what we're called to be. That's what our God is. Our God is a God of encouragement. But He's also a God of steadfastness. What does the word steadfastness mean? Steadfastness means God is always able to be counted on. That's our faith, folks. That's what our Orthodox faith is meant to create in you. A steadfastness, a confidence, a dependability that makes you the man or the woman that God has called you to be. Now, let me be quick to add. Anybody who's been around Orthodoxy any length of time at all, from those of us who are converts to those of us who can trace our lineage back to St. Paul, regardless of where you've stepped into this moving river of Orthodoxy, whether it's been generations ago or just a few months ago, Orthodoxy is tough. It's hard. If it's not tough for you, you ain't doing it right. Orthodoxy asks you to fast on Wednesdays and Fridays. Are you serious, Father? Yeah. Orthodoxy asks you to keep the fastings and the feastings of the year. We're in a great fast right now. The Dormition fast is going on right now. We should not be having meat and dairy. We should be avoiding meat and dairy as much as we possibly can, because it's the Dormition fast. On August the 15th, we're going to celebrate the Feast of the Dormition. How are you going to celebrate if you haven't prepared? Orthodoxy demands that you pay attention. You can't be on automatic pilot and be an Orthodox Christian. It's just not going to happen. And you certainly aren't going to pass on a robust Orthodox faith to your children if they see you being on automatic pilot as well. So how do we do this? Why is it worth the effort? Because it is hard work to be Orthodox on purpose. It is hard work to prioritize my faith even more than my children. It is hard work to prioritize my faith even more than my own comfort. It is hard to love God more than I love any other human alive. And yet it is only by loving God more than anything that I'll ever love humans as they need to be loved. And when I don't love God more than anything, the love that I give to humans is always too small, because my soul hasn't been expanded by God's presence to take in all that what a human being really is. Why is it worth it, folks? It's worth it, my precious friends, because the gift of encouragement and steadfastness creates an honorable and dignified person. The Greeks have a great word for it. It's called philotimo. To have philotimo, to have a dignity and an honor and a steadfastness and a dependability that can't be shaken by the temporary things of the world, to have a commitment that lasts beyond what's comfortable, to make the hard decisions of prioritizing my life in such a way so that my children see that what happens in this room is more important than what happens in any other room or any other soccer field or any other football field or any other highlight field. Is highlight a game? No, it's something else. Where I prioritize this. Oh, Father, you're saying that because you're a priest. Of course I am. My job is to usher all you little chicks across the finish line. And I'm going to get demerits if any of you fall by the wayside. Of course I'm saying this for that reason. Because it's worth it. Your life has been given to you to teach you how to enjoy being with God for eternity. And Orthodoxy is the perfect school to learn how to be with God forever and enjoy it. That's the reason why Orthodoxy belongs to every man, woman, boy, and girl who has ever breathed air, no matter where their background is, no matter what their education level is, no matter who they're from or what race they're from or what language they speak. Every human needs to be Orthodox, because Orthodoxy is the perfect school to teach a man or a woman to enjoy being with God forever. As I left camp, can I tell you one quick story before I finish? Is it okay? Will you give me the time? as I left camp, there was one young man in the camp. There's always at least one who is he's the alpha dog. I always pick him out first day. And this boy had a man bun. And, I can't do that. And I was jealous, so I grabbed it. First day. And I knew he was the guy that everybody was looking at. And I looked at him and I said, I want you to know, son, you and I are going to be best friends. That's just the way it is. We're just going to be best friends. And by the end of that week, that young man who really wasn't involved in church very much, his parents weren't involved in church very much, he came to camp to meet girls and to have fun. What a wonderful reason to go to camp. I think that's a great reason to go to camp, meet girls and have fun, especially at that age. But on Thursday, he came and sat with me for almost half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, and poured his heart out to me. He has a family that has some nominal connection to the Orthodox faith. And so he came to camp. And he poured his heart out to me, and I looked at him and I said, son, what do you need from me? He said, Father, I just want an adult to listen to me so that I can get some advice. And by the end of the week, as we were saying goodbye on Saturday, this young man, he's the macho guy. He was the alpha dog of the whole camp. Let me tell you, everybody followed his direction. Everybody followed his lead. And that's what I told him early on. I said, now, boy, everybody's going to follow your lead, so you've got to remember every choice you make reflects on me. By the end of that week, this young man, his friends were over there gathering. He saw me getting ready to get in my car, and he slipped away from his friends, and he looked around to make sure they wasn't looking at him, and tears were rolling down his face. And he asked me, he said, could I call you sometime? And I looked at him and I said, you better believe it, honey. You can call me anytime you need to. He said, I need a priest influencing my life. And I said, well, I'm your boy. And that macho kid clarified for me what's valuable in life. I could care less about your bank account, children. Who cares about that? I could care less about your house, your car, what pretty clothes you wear, your PhD or your exalted degree, because 5 seconds after they put you in a hole, none of that's going to matter. But this place here will be paying off dividends in your soul as the ages continue. A wise man once said, he is no fool who gives up what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. It's worth it to pay the price, moms and dads, to learn your faith and pass on to your children a robust and purposeful orthodoxy. Amen.
Father Barnabas is the priest at the Saints Raphael, Nicholas, and Irene Greek Orthodox Church in Cumming, Georgia. Find out more at faithencouraged.org. That's faithencouraged.org.